about you. You're selfish, now you're jaded. It's the dumbest guy I've dated. Heaven's like a big until you're naked. Only 6 seconds and I had to fake it. 5, you're toxic. 4, can't trust you. 3, you still got.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the Sunday Punch podcast. We opened with a song. Who's that by again? And what's it called?
Leah Kate, 10 Things I Hate About You. Leah Kate.
Leah Kate, 10 Things I Hate About You. It sounds right up my alley. It's got a little bit of a Olivia Rodrigo vibe. And you know how I feel about her.
I don't know, but I'm sure your guests do. Do you know the movie 10 Things I Hate About You?
Is that with Josh Hartnett?
No, that was with Heath Ledger and
Cisco.
No.
Cisco was in a teen movie at one point in time.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome. We're gonna talk some college basketball, and then we'll see where it takes us. So let's start off how we always do with a little Friday night intro, and then we'll get right into things here.
Friday night, I'm thinking that we just might fly away to someplace they don't know who we are. Now I'm riding shotgun in your car. We drive through the city like explorers going 65. Flowing hair flying across your face. We left on Friday, now it's Saturday. Pressed jeans buttoned up, jeans iron slipping up. Red shoes walking slow, headphones blaring 3 stacks. Sunglasses flaring out, thick watch hanging low. Studded belt pulled taut, 3 stacks on the radio. Friday night, I'm thinking that we just might run away to some place we can be who we are. We can be who we are.
We can be who we are. Thanks for joining, Matthew from
Great
the Wolff
to be here.
Den.
Great.
It's been a little bit. What's you've been interviewing people. What's been your most interesting interview as of late?
Trying to remember who we had. I had Jim Morris, he was played by Dennis Quaid, the rookie Disney movie. He was like a 35-year-old major league player. I had Wayne Hoffman on. I don't know if that was before or after the last time we went. A world-renowned mentalist who, man, he freaking blew my mind with these tricks. He did a 3-card Monte, and he was doing it in super slow motion and still couldn't figure out what card it was. So that was pretty wild. We had a local comedian here in South Florida, Brittany Brave, who's doing great things. She's pretty funny. And who else? I had John O'Leary, who's it's a Google Jack and the Kid, 12-minute story about. It's just an incredible story. He's probably the best motivational speaker I've seen when I was at Lexus, and it was unbelievable. The best speaker I've ever seen, and he was gracious enough to come on the Wolff Den and share his story. So it's been we've had some Olympians on. It's been fun.
So, yeah. What do you mean 3-card Monte? What's a mentalist?
You show 3 cards, and you got to follow the ace, and then he's like, "All right, where's the ace?"
Yeah.
He was doing it like this. I mean, it was so like, here's the 3 cards, right? You got to find out which one, where's the green one, right? And he was doing this, and he was doing it like this, so slow, and you're like, which one's the green one? And you're like, okay, the green one's definitely
it's in the middle.
There. And he turns it around, and it wasn't the ace. It was anyway. You gotta just go to the episode.
What's his name? Chris Angel?
Wayne Hoffman.
Oh, okay.
He's been on everywhere. Ellen. He was on America's Got Talent, and he's just he does shows all around the country, all around the world too. His intro video that his manager sent me, I was like, this is the greatest intro. There's no way anyone's going to send me a better intro video than this. It was crazy.
And then you had a comedian on. Did you guys talk about what she thought of the Will Smith slap?
She was on before then. I was on a cruise, and my wife sends me a text, like a description, and it said like Will Smith went up on stage and slapped Chris Rock. I'm like, come on, that didn't happen. And then I get back, and it's like that's all anyone was talking about. It's a wild, it's crazy. And they got the Grammys tonight. You think the Grammy producers are worried about what might be said or what might happen?
What, like this?
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow.
Actually, that's the first time I've seen it. It's
I love it. I didn't show the whole clip where he goes back to his seat and he says, "Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth." I talked to it about, in length on my last podcast, but I just wanted to get your thoughts, your initial thoughts.
Yeah,
you had a comedian. I wish you had the comedian on afterwards. Comedians hated it.
They hated that he came up and slapped.
Yeah,
I mean, most people did,
because their reasoning is that means everyone else is now going to do that. They're just going to be at a random comedy club and say, "Will Smith did it. That means I can do it."
Yeah, well, Will Smith. Well, we could talk about privilege on another show, but no one's going up and walking at the Hollywood Improv and slapping the comedian. It's not going to end well like it ended, and Will Smith is going to go through some stuff. He's obviously got some, his relationship with Jada is not, well, who knows? Who knows really what it is? I feel bad for him, but also he's a grown man who can't, he made a decision. It's not like he was standing there and he just slapped him, and he literally made the decision to walk up and slap him. So, you're a grown man, actions, you can't do it. It's unfortunate. And I'm a big Will Smith fan, and I'll watch his movie if a movie comes out. But man, that's some of the great. So I'm not the internet is always undefeated, right? I mean, it's unbelievable the memes that have come out of it. And I'm not a Impractical Jokers fan. I actually I don't like them at all. But one of the funniest ones I saw was when it had them on there with Will, and in his ears, like, all right, now go slap Chris Rock.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that. My brother loves that show. He's like, "Oh, you watching Practical Jokers?" I'm like, I watched one episode. I'm like, this isn't funny.
Yeah, it's not funny. I mean, there's no way at this point these people don't know who they are.
Oh yeah, I guess I haven't thought about it like that.
Yeah, and the other
uber famous now.
Somebody posted a fake Will Smith Instagram post 2 days ago. It was a picture of him with his arm around Chris Rock, and it said "April Fools." I thought that was pretty funny.
No, it was. I will say we'll move on real quick, but it was the craziest thing I've ever seen, ever. A TV moment. I've seen crazier things on the Red Line on the daily. Actually, it's a funny story. I was on my way to go watch the basketball games, that we're gonna get into. But I was on the Red Line, and this homeless guy was screaming, and he kept screaming over and over, "You can't make fun of someone with cancer. You don't degrade someone with cancer." And I thought he was talking to somebody like the other guy sitting like next to him. But then that guy got up, and he goes on and on for another 10 minutes about how you cannot make fun, like, how dare you make fun of someone with cancer. And so then at the end, the big payoff of this whole 20-minute monologue that he had on the Red Line was, and Will Smith had every right. He was talking about Will Smith the whole time. He was yelling. He was that Well, he's insane. He was a homeless guy. He's insane.
Yeah.
But I would have thought like he was talking about something else because, well, first of all, she doesn't have cancer.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. As far as I know, she doesn't have cancer.
Second of all, it's like happened 2 weeks ago, so I was like thrown off. Okay. I watched the basketball games last night. We don't even have to discuss the Kansas Villanova game. I live bet it. Here's another thing with college basketball. I've been making a lot of money live betting NBA games. Just because if a team's on a back-to-back and they go up like initially, the team that's losing and not on a back-to-back will win 100, not win, but at least cover 100% of the time, because NBA players eventually they make their shots. Like they're not going to go into the second half and just, they're not going to have an entire bad game. Basically, an NBA player will not do that. So I did the same thing thinking, oh, Villanova is going to cover. At one point it was like 13.5 or whatever. And I picked them. Actually, I was like, oh, I think it was like plus 800 to win. So I picked them thinking, oh, they'll start making their shots. But in college, all of these guys suck. So
Well,
that game was like, obviously Kansas was better. And you know what the thought I had during that game, and then it was blasted away in the Duke UNC game, is I was like, college basketball just sucks. Like I would much rather watch an NBA game any day of the week, like regular, like Toronto, Chicago,
no way.
than watch that Kansas Villanova game, because
Not me.
I'm like, these guys can't. Half these guys aren't even athletic. I'm like, this isn't even fun to watch. And then the refs suck. They're calling a charge on everything. I'm like, this isn't even fun.
The refs have been terrible throughout the NCAA tournament. I'll watch college over pro any day of the week, especially when you're talking about tournament games. The one thing I'll say about the Villanova game is, look, they were missed. It was the first game without Moore, who's their starter, and Kansas punched them right in the face. Right, they went up 10-0. They were hitting threes. Ajabi, whatever can't pronounce his name. He hits 4 threes in a row, and they're down 10-0. And that was the game because Villanova never recovered. I mean, they got it down to 6, but it was as high as 18. And so when you're in college, when you're down 15, I was talking to Brent with this about today, the margin of error is so slim. They were basically take away that first 10-0 run, they basically played even. And every team goes on 10-0 runs and gives up 10-0 runs. But if you do it at the beginning and then you kind of all you got to do is play even, that's the big problem. And so Villanova played well. I thought they got it down to 6. I thought maybe they make another run, and they had it at 9 right before the half, and Villanova hits a shot to go up 11, big huge shot, and then I think it was when they were down. They get it down to 6, and Braun, I think his name was, or Brown. He hits a 3 with like no time left on the shot clock to put up to 9, and that was it. That was towards the end. Funny story about the NCAA tournament. I hate going chalk, and so I rarely ever do it. But this year, I had strong feelings about my finals teams. I had Gonzaga beating Arizona. I felt strongly about both of those, and we can talk about the rest of the tournament too.
I had the exact same thing. I had Arizona over Gonzaga, but
I had Gonzaga beating Arizona. When I saw the draw, I put Gonzaga all the way. I said, they're going to win it all this year. This is their year. And I thought Arizona had a strong chance as long as they got healthy after the first weekend. And then I put Wisconsin in there because I thought they were going to do well. I forget. It was probably something to do with their draws. And I also had Baylor. And so I had 3 number 1 teams in the Final Four, which I never, ever have. The one Final Four team with the one number 1 team I didn't have in the Final Four was Kansas, and they end up being the only number 1 seed to make the Final Four. So I was way off on everything this year. I was not a big fan of Kansas throughout the year. I'm surprised. Obviously, you're number 1 seed. You figure, all right, it's not a big deal for them to get there. But I didn't have a feeling that they were going to be there. And even watching the Miami game, I mean, what they did in the second half to Miami was. Talk about a flawless half. I mean, Miami was killing them, and not score-wise necessarily, but and Kansas that second half. And they played a really pretty flawless first half yesterday. So I'm wondering, when are they going to be the bad Kansas? And if bad Kansas doesn't show up, they win the championship. If it does show up, I think Carolina's got a good chance.
Well, Carolina is another one of those teams that doesn't look like they were very good in the, all the way up to before they beat Duke in the home game in the regular season. They were just like, oh, okay. I mean, they got an 8 seed. Obviously, they're not.
Yeah, they struggled, and then they talk about the game against Baylor when they were up by 26 points, and Baylor comes back to put in overtime. Baylor. I mean, how Baylor lost that game was I would have bet a ton of money that Baylor was going to win that game in overtime, and Carolina could have been out. They played St. Peter's, so it wasn't gonna happen for them. But
I was saying this in the last podcast. I'm like, I might be one of the few people that hate watching like a small school win.
well,
I'm just like, because they've never won the whole thing. So it's like, what am I getting excited for? They're not going to win the championship. So you're just going to lose your mind over St. Peter's getting to the Elite Eight, where I already know they're not going to win. Like, this isn't exciting for me. I'd much rather watch a team that actually has a shot at doing something.
And I think that most people feel the same way that you do. They want to see first of all, they want to see teams like St. Peter's win a game or two, maybe get to the next weekend and then lose out to the teams and then see some better basketball. And then you look at some of the other teams that had upsets, like Houston, like who beat Gonzaga, Arkansas. I mean, they ended up losing, right after. So you're almost like, look, if they could have gotten past, if Gonzaga and Arizona could have won those games and they were both in both of those games, I think we very possibly could have had a Gonzaga-Arizona championship. But I don't think you're much different.
Well, Gonzaga, it just goes back to why college basketball to me is like inferior. It's like Gonzaga, the refs influenced that entire game. Like their main guy, Chet, got in foul trouble and he didn't even commit 3 of the fouls. So it's like, how am I supposed to watch this?
There were bad calls. Gonzaga has good enough players that they should have won without him, even though obviously he's going to be a top pick, if not the number 1 pick, maybe 2 or 3.
What do you think of him? I've had people on that love him, and I've had people on that think he's going to be a bust. And no in between, not one in between.
Yeah, I think I didn't. When I first watched him play a few times, I didn't think he's the number 1 pick in the draft, and I'm not sure he still is. But I think that he's very smart. I think he'll be a good pro. I do. I think he'll be a good pro. I don't know if he'll be an all-star. Some of it's going to depend on where you go, right? I mean, but you have teams like you have some really good with the trades, and you have some really good teams with really good picks. Like Golden State had the number 2 pick. Right, Wiseman, he got hurt, but so you had a chance to go to some good teams with some good players, and they don't have to perform so quickly. It's just, I think he'll be good. I don't know that he was the best player in college. It's hard to tell this year.
It definitely depends where you go. Like speaking of Golden State, they got this guy named Kuminga. And he's been amazing this year, but who knows if Kuminga, if he goes to Orlando, is he the same like guy? Probably not. Even though I love the Orlando Magic, I've been on the Magic's case on my last 5 podcasts. Love the Orlando Magic.
I think they're going to be good. I do
too. I don't get why it's not a free agent destination.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good too. I thought that Oscar Sheboy of Kentucky was the best player I saw all year. He was
Sheboy.
Yeah, he was dominating.
You're not allowed to say that in Florida anymore, dude.
Double.
You know that?
Yeah, don't get me started with that rule.
I actually don't know what I'm talking about, other than I saw it as a headline. It's like the "Don't Say Gay" bill. I was like, I'm not even gonna look into this.
Yeah, it's not worth wasting your time. But Sheboy is
Well, there you go again.
he was the I just like saying Sheboy. He was the best player that I saw, and he won the Player of the Year. I forget which one. I don't think it was the
First to
Wooden
go
Award.
by they boy.
But he's not. He's like a late first round pick, and it's always interesting to see the college basketball players. Like, how's it going to translate to the NBA? Because people who struggled, frankly, in college,
Right.
killed in the NBA, and some who are like dominating can't make it. So it's a lot of it's, what position are you playing? What team are you going to? Stuff like that. It'll be
It's
interesting.
all about body type and if they can dribble. Like, I've been watching the guy on Duke, Paolo. And I'm watching and I'm like, I don't see it, but I bet you he'll get in the NBA and be very good because he's tall, can dribble, and can create his own shot, right? But right now, I don't know. I just don't see it. But then you got guys like in the past, like Adam Morrison is like dropping like 30 a game, and then he goes to the NBA and he never plays. And it's like,
Charlotte, right? I
oh.
think he was on Charlotte.
He was. That was a Michael Jordan draft pick. Gonzaga kid. And I thought he was going to be good. And then, you get to the NBA and it's just a different animal, man.
So I thought Banchero, I mean, you could see the flashes of why he's going to be a top pick. But that said, he's not going to have the type of ease he had in some of this, like being able to dominate physically as he gets closer to the rim. I didn't see him shoot a lot. I know he can. I didn't see him shoot a lot. And frankly, Carolina, I thought, was very fortunate to win that game because Duke shot very poorly and still had a very good, they had a good chance to win. There were so many lead changes, and it was like a 7-0 run here and then an 11-2 run here. It was pretty wild. A very entertaining game. And
well, before we get to the Duke Carolina, all right, we were talking about this before the cast. The only person that you didn't hate was Villanova.
I'm very strong in my dislikes for teams in college athletics and pro. Notre Dame is my number one hated. They stink at basketball, but so it doesn't.
I hate them as well.
Although they never should have beat. Rutgers should have won that game in how about starting off the whole tournament in the first four, the Rutgers Notre Dame game? Oh no, that was Indiana. Was it Indiana or Notre Dame? Who did Rutgers play?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't start watching until
Anyway, Notre Dame.
Until everyone got freaked out about St. Peter's. That's when I started watching, and then I watched them get destroyed by 30.
Well, it was fun to watch them beat Kentucky. I love that. I hate Kentucky basketball. I hate Carolina and Kansas in basketball and football. I don't care.
Right.
So those are the teams. Some of it stemmed to the coach, Roy Williams. I'm not a fan of Roy Williams. I don't really like Bill Self. I'm not a Duke fan, but I would say I probably, if you're going to pick one of those blue bloods that are up there, I probably dislike them less than others. And, Coach K, it's a great story. But so I was hoping that Villanova would win because they're I like to root for or against someone. And so you like to have, it was weird. Sometimes you get these matchups of like two teams you like, and you're like, it's weird in the Super Bowl. Like the Super Bowl, I had two teams I could root for. It's a weird thing to watch a game like that. Generally, I like to have someone that I'm rooting against or rooting for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't have any strong feelings whatsoever. I do enjoy watching the destruction of a feel-good story. So I was kind of hoping Coach K lost just because I just like watching that. Like everyone's like, "Oh, this is it. It's gonna be right off into the sunset," and I like watching that end.
I'm okay with him not getting that ending, but here's what happened last night. North Carolina beats Duke, right? Ends Coach K's career. So Coach K's last two losses at home, final home game against Carolina, Final Four game against Carolina, ends up with not a winning record overall against Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And and this is the craziest thing of them all. How have they never played in the NCAA tournament before is crazy. But only ever NCAA appearance against Carolina, he beats them. And so it's a bad a scenario, if you were going to think about what could be the worst case scenario for Coach K, that's probably it, short of that being, losing in the championship on like, a big lead or a buzzer beater or something like that. But I watched the post game, and he had a really tough job because every question was about him. And look, people want to know about him and how he feels and all this, but he did a good job of saying this is about the players who, they're sitting there in the locker room crying, and this is a big, this is the moment that this guy's been to a ton of them. And I thought he did a good job about that, of doing that. And, sometimes coaches just say the PC stuff, but I truly believe that he was genuine about it. And that's one of the things why it's harder to hate Duke, because Coach K is not perfect. None of these people are, but I just feel like he's been a good role model, and he's coached the Olympics team, and everyone, by all accounts, everyone seemed to really like him, being a coach and as a person. So it's like he's hard. He's easy to root for. I would say that.
The opposite side, best case scenario, if you're a North Carolina fan.
Yeah. Well, they got to win. They'll be happy. But I know you mentioned.
I mentioned this. I really think that they have such an extreme hatred towards Duke and Coach K that it felt as if they just won last night.
Yeah, but it'll take some of the sting off if they do lose. But you get to the championship, you just never look at the Gators, right? Think about the Gators. The Gators win back-to-back in 06 and 07. Okay, and Billy gets back to the Elite Eight, and they get back to a Final Four, but they haven't made the championship game in a long time, so it's very difficult to win. And so when you get there, you got to win. And look at Gonzaga. They might. Who knows if they'll ever win? I don't know. It's very difficult. I know Coach Fuse does a great job, and he gets them close. But it's not easy to win in the tournament. And I don't just mean the championship. I mean winning games. That was one of the things that was really bothering me about all the negative press that Mike White got. And look, he deserves some of the negative stuff he got. But the guy got to the NCAA tournament and kept winning games. It's not that easy to do. Ask Calipari how easy it is to win in the tournament. He had a 15 seed he lost to. Ask a lot of these teams who just they don't win. And so you just never – it's like anything in sports. You never know when you're going to get back. College is different, right? A lot of these players are one and done. So I really do believe that they need to win to have that feeling. But it would – if they do lose, it's going to take a little bit of the sting off. The season was – it's such a great success already.
What about let's talk Gators basketball. What did you think of the whole Mike White? By the way, best name last night was Leaky Black. But what do you think about the Mike White scenario? Then who'd we get? We got someone good, didn't we?
Todd Golden from San Francisco.
Yeah, he's good.
He's part of the tribe for us, so we're happy.
We need to get back to those days. We need to get back to those Joakim Noah.
Yeah, but
Bradley Beal was nice too.
Yeah, we're never going to get back to those days. It's just people think that the Florida program is a blue blood like Kansas, Carolina, Duke, Villanova, and we were never at that level, even when we won the 2 championships. Which, by the way, will never. It's going to be a long time until someone wins back to back, and it might not ever happen in our lifetime. But even with all that, it was all, hey, Billy Donovan was a great coach who found the right players. And he didn't as close as he got. He still never had the magic afterwards. So, and he was a great coach, maybe one of the best coaches in all of college basketball history for what he did. The fans have unrealistic expectations, and I think we underachieved. Don't get me wrong. I think we needed to win more, but we're not in the tier 1 of college basketball, and the uneducated fans who are mostly football fans who tune into basketball, they wanted him out, and he left. The guy left. The guy had a job, and he left to go to Georgia. He wasn't getting fired. There was too much money, and he didn't deserve to be fired. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think, we lost our number 1 recruit, who's a 5-star. top 20 player. I don't. He still might come back, but it's not looking good. And hopefully we can keep Reeves, who was playing real well at the end of the year, and we have a couple other recruits, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I think there's excitement for Golden the way that there's excitement for Napier, and I hate comparing basketball and football, but just from a new coach point of view, there's excitement about let's see what happens. Because it wasn't that we had bad coaches. It was that maybe these coaches weren't right for the Gator program, and it was time to move on. And I think both fans of both football and basketball feel that way. And now, he's another Mike White. He's a mid-major who did well, and we'll see what happens. I'm excited for it, but I'm excited no matter who the coach. Every year I think we're going to do very well. That's the illness that I have with being a Florida Gator. I think we're going to win every game. I think we're going to win every football game, and there's no reason to think that we can't.
Well, we got to see if Anthony Richardson is actually
he's got
a very good quarterback.
But there's no reason why we can't win every game.
Well, I guess. I mean, anyone could say that, though.
No, we have the talent to match up with anyone in football.
I don't know, man. We need to figure out that defensive side of the ball.
I'm excited for it, and I'll be there week 1 against Utah.
I haven't even seen the schedule yet. I need to buy my tickets already. Gainesville's filling up already. I bet you.
Filled up.
Hey, another trip I got. Before we get to your predictions for actually, real quick, the Mike Krzyzewski thing. Then he walked off and he was holding his wife's hand.
Yeah.
Weird move to me.
Why?
It's just something very weird optically of seeing two older people holding hands.
You got some really interesting viewpoints on relationships.
You hold hands with your wife?
It's a real mystery why you're not married yet.
You hold hands with your wife?
Do I hold hands with my wife? Probably not often, but I do. I don't like. I don't.
Oh, they're big. No, they do it all the time. That's why
I know. That's
weird.
their thing. That's their thing. It shouldn't be weird. I think the older you get, the more you hold hands. Maybe they're just trying to make sure they don't get lost. And the average person.
Why is he retiring? Here's the real question. Why does he go
older? It's time to move on. He's got a ton of grandkids, and I think he's ready for the next.
You can't hang out with your grandkids and coach basketball. I was saying this with Tom Brady. The whole family excuse is always like rung a little false to me. It seems like a false different narrative.
I mean, Coach K's older in life. He's already. What does he have to prove? Short of him winning.
Well, he's got to beat UNC in a tournament.
Short of him winning at the end, which doesn't know if it's going to happen, and then retiring. I think.
Yeah, one of the funniest things with him though was he was so against the one and dones, and then like completely embraced it.
Well, you have to. I mean, I think it's.
He was like, this Duke program's about building the young man's character and blah blah blah. And then as soon as he realized, he's like, no, never mind. We'll do the one and done thing. But
I think he believed that. I really do. I think he believed it until he figured, look, I need to do this. Otherwise, these other schools are going to do it and they're going to beat us. And they had the tradition to be able to get those players. So it was interesting. But someone like him who says that, I believe him, that he actually believed it. If someone like, who knows, whatever it was, at Louisville or Wake Forest says that, then you're just like, all right, well, you don't believe it because you're not going to have a steady flow of one and doners coming in. But look at Calipari. He gets one and done, top recruiting classes all the time. Hasn't won in.
Yeah, is he like done?
No.
I don't know. They just don't seem to have the same aura that they did when they were getting like John Wall and Cousins there.
I mean, they had players. They just, sometimes you're talking about 18-year-old kids who knows how they're going to be. These recruiting in basketball is even a lower margin for error than football because you only get like 4 or 5 of them. If they don't play well together or they have different agendas and half of them are already thinking about their NBA career, it's not easy. And so,
what do you think about the transfer portal?
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's just too easy for like Omar Payne just left Illinois. Like people going on 3-4 teams, and then you got the graduate thing that the rule that they had, and now with the COVID year, there was on Twitter there was a high school recruit who was like the portal's killing us because these players are coming to taking their spots almost because someone goes to a smaller school and then they do well and they come to a bigger school, or someone's not doing well and then they come to a smaller school. And I just don't. I get that a coach can go. So there should be some type of movement, and if you're not happy where you're at, you should be able to go. But I didn't mind the sit out a year. Like make them sit out a year, and don't make it so easy for people to train. It's free agency basically is what it is, and I don't think there's any room for free agency. And now you get that combined with the NIL deal, which again, I'm all for players getting paid, but man, it's the wild, wild west, and there's no way that they're going to be able to really monitor it. And so, people were cheating behind doors, and now they're kind of doing it right in your face. And but they got to find a way to make all of this work. Otherwise, I think college basketball will suffer, and football too. But college basketball, I think more.
Will it?
Yeah,
I kind of think we're gonna get to like an NBA range where you're just gonna be like, oh, all the players decided to go to Duke. They all transferred.
These teams are all going to get.
Well, they're all one and done, so it doesn't really matter in basketball. But that could happen in football for sure.
But not everyone who you think is going to be a one and done is going to be a one and done. There's limited spots in the NBA, and the players are throughout the season either don't play up to their expectations, or other players, play.
Yeah, we lost that one guy who was playing on Gonzaga, who was on the Gators.
Oh,
he was
yeah,
really good. I forget what his. Yeah. He was. So in that area, I don't like it. I'd rather him be stuck in Florida.
No, I want him to go, but have him sit out. I would think, maybe have him sit out a year.
Why? What's with the sit out a year thing? You think that'll make him like think it through a little bit more?
Yeah, that was the rule before. They had to sit out a year, and no, there wasn't as many transfers. Now you could transfer without sitting out a year, without any reasoning. And so there's hundreds of LSU lost 11 players in the portal already. Now their coach got fired and they're probably going to go on probation. So it makes sense. But the Gators lost 4 to 5 last year, and they're going to lose a few more this year. And so turning it over that much, we had a bunch of transfers come in. So I think that the Gators were a net positive in the transfer portal, but I don't like it overall. And we're going to get a couple of good transfers too that come in and fill. I just feel like
a regular student can transfer, can't they? If they have the grades, right? They could transfer every year if they wanted to.
Yeah, but the thing about it was you had to sit out a year, so people weren't just transferring every year. I mean, it's like if you don't have a bad experience.
But if a regular student can do it, what's the difference between that and a basketball player?
You're just talking about being able to play. The basketball player can transfer. They just have to sit out if they have to sit out.
I'm never going to convince you off this sit out.
I just think it's too chaotic with no, I don't know. I just don't like it. And people are getting bad. They're getting bad advice. You look at someone like Anthony DeRuggi for the Gators, who's opting for the NBA draft. I mean, he's not going to get drafted, I don't think. Definitely not in the first round. And so the first round is the only thing in the NBA that's guaranteed, and there's only 60 players who are going to get drafted. And it's not like football and baseball and, where there's a lot of free agents. Like, there's opportunity to play. You could play in Europe. You could play in the G League. But I just
there's going to be some good G League players coming in the NBA.
No, Scotty Lewis is killing it in the G League. So it's just I feel like there's got to be more. It's just too chaotic. The transfer portal, the NIL stuff. It's I don't know. You're gonna watch the game tonight? I know the women's game. I watched the UConn Stanford game the other night, and
was it good?
It was. I watched the fourth quarter and overtime.
Yeah.
It was probably the best basketball game I've saw. That and Duke.
Why are you lying?
No, I'm telling you, it was they were hitting shots. And
You've been watching. You've never seen Michael Jordan, then I guess.
No, I'm talking about this year, not in the.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about this year.
How about Giannis?
I'm talking about this year in college. I've seen Giannis plenty. How about Giannis's block?
Oh, that guy, that freak of nature that can dribble.
How about Giannis's
is 7 feet and can literally dunk it from the free throw line? But I'll tell you what, those UConn women did this layup that I was blew my mind.
They play 95% of the time. They play zero defense in the NBA.
That's not true anymore, dude.
Yeah, it is.
You should watch some normal.
Every game,
there's some of the games now.
Every game, it's some team is up 20 points, 25 points, and then there's a comeback. I could script the game for you, but Embiid's block, Giannis's block of Embiid to win the game the other day was. Yeah. I mean, that's an MVP type winning play. But anyway, so UConn, back to UConn for a second.
Yeah, best game you've ever seen.
It was one of the best games I've seen in college basketball this year, and UConn has made 14 straight Final Fours. Just think about that. They've made 14 straight Final Fours. That's insane. And Gino Auriemma, he's 11-0 in the national championship game. So we'll see if he can keep. He's going to have a tough matchup tonight. But
fuck it, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's worth. I don't watch. Fourth quarter comes on, it's a close game. I'll watch it. I feel like I don't need to watch the whole game, but I feel that way with a lot of things. If it's a close game, I'll watch it for any sport towards the end and see what happens.
You'll watch Love is Blind if it's on.
That I won't watch. I don't even
You'll watch The Bachelor if it's on.
No, I don't watch. I don't really watch reality TV.
What's that other one? Sex in Paradise?
I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding.
Something about Paradise Island.
I just made up that name.
Big Brother.
Big Mother.
Celebrity Big Brother.
No, I haven't been watching. All right, who you got in the championship game then? Give me your click it to pick it.
Do you know who this guy is right here?
Give me your. I don't give a fuck about Big Mother.
I want to know if you know who this guy is. Real quick, I want to know if you know who that is.
Yeah, Bill Self. No, wait. Oh yeah, that's the guy who thinks I just want to fly.
He was
Ray. Mark McGrath.
Mark McGrath. He was on the Beach Boys cruise that I was on. He's filled in with the Beach Boys for a little bit, and he did a meet and greet. It was fun.
That's the cruise he went on? Beach Boys. It was Beach Boys themed?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And the Yacht Rock, the Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees was on. The Temptations were on.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Yacht Rock Review, Mark McGrath, Emerson Hart from Tonic. And there was the Hard Day's Night Beatles cover band was on. They were very good too.
That sounds fun. Did you just float out in the water, or you go to destinations?
We went to Nassau, only 3 days. So the stuff on the boat was the action. It's a 6-minute cruise.
Together.
It was great. I mean, they have so many songs. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're really good. The Beach Boys are disrespected in my mind. Just like Giannis. And in fact, I would call Giannis the Beach Boys of the NBA, and it's trending in some circles. Okay,
you mean the guy who won the MVP is considered maybe the best player in the league? That guy's underrated?
First of all, it should be a guarantee he's the MVP. The fact that it's a discussion is insulting. And then, that award makes no sense anyway. They give it to random people every year. Just because, Michael Jordan should have got it 10 years straight. So should have LeBron. But you're not allowed to win it 10 years in a row, apparently.
Now, what do you make of LeBron? Because, the Lakers are terrible.
He's the second best player of all.
That's fine, but the Lakers they're not going to make the playoffs.
No, they are not going to make the playoffs, which I have conflicting views on, because I kind of wanted to, like a kid with a magnifying glass, burning the legs off an ant. I wanted to watch the Lakers struggle in the play-in, and then I was hoping they'd even get in the playoffs so that I could watch them get swept by the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
But look, LeBron made the bed. He can sleep in it. He recruited Carmelo. He recruited Russell. They could have had Caruso. They could have had Buddy Hield instead of Russell, and then they could have combined that with Malik Monk and kept Caruso, and who's probably the best defensive, guard they've ever had, and he's doing great things in Chicago. So look, LeBron, you recruited all these geezers, so you can go ahead and score 50 points a night if you want. But you're not going to the playoffs, and you're stuck there next year unless you get traded. And so I'm loving every minute of it. I watch every Lakers game. It's a sickness for me.
Yeah.
I have to watch them lose.
It's not as bad as when they lost with Peyton and Malone.
I think it's worse than that because at least that team made the playoffs.
Yeah, but that team was better. I mean, this team wasn't as good. LeBron's been injured. I can't understand.
Anthony Davis has been injured.
It's not a bad fit. It's such a bad fit. I just can't understand. And
it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to understand. It's he's a ball dominant. He's always been ball dominant, and so he's not that anymore, which means he only gets specific shots. So he can't put up like 20 shots like he used to. And so that when he was in OKC, just see, or when he was a Wizard, you would just see, oh, Russell scored 30 tonight. You didn't see that he took 30 shots.
No, he's a Hall of Famer.
Sure. I mean, Ben Wallace is in the Hall of Fame, so apparently they put anybody in there.
He's much better than Ben Wallace. He's not a Ben Wallace, and we're going to wonder why he made it. The guy averaged a triple.
Ben Wallace won a championship.
This guy averaged a triple-double. Do you even understand what that means?
Yeah, I know. I like it. Dude, I loved Russell Westbrook, and now I just, he went to the dark side. He went to Darth Vader, so I have to hate him now.
Before we talk about the finals tomorrow, who's going to win the NBA? I think the Nets have no shot. I would say the Nets have no shot.
Phoenix is I had my notes on this. Wait a second. Let me see if I still have my notes. Phoenix is pretty much guaranteed to win. And let me tell you why.
You never know about Golden State, though.
No, Golden State's done.
You see that comeback?
Check this out. Check this out. With Golden State, dude, they're done. Just forget it. A team that's 9 wins better than second place. Okay? Got that in your mind?
Yeah.
Only a few teams have ever done it. 67 Sixers were 8 games better. 72 Bucks, 14 games. 73 Celtics, 8 games. 92 Bulls plus 10. Bulls in 96. 8 games better than the second place team. 2000 Lakers were 12 games better than the second place team. 5 of the 6 of those won the championship. And the Suns are right now I think 9 wins better.
The Suns are 12 wins better than the Heat, who's first in the East right now. I mean, that's...
Well, the Heat, not the Heat, the East is so muddled. That's why I think maybe the Nets could get there, and then you never know. I mean, they have the best player, in my opinion.
Yeah.
KD. And so you never know. They need Ben Simmons if they really wanted to win the whole thing. But
I like Simmons better than most do, but I think the Celtics the winner of the Celtics Bucks is going to win the East, and then I think.
Well, the Celtics just lost Robert Williams. He tore his meniscus.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah,
I think he'll be back. And
but I mean, just off those stats alone, and the only team that didn't win that championship is because one of their main players got injured in the playoffs. So it's when one team is so much more dominant than the rest of the league. It's like, and the Suns are angry. They didn't win last year. So then you have that added benefit of them being angry. I love the Suns. I love their whole attitude. Devin Booker's an assassin. Chris Paul is a gangster. And then you got Ayton killing it. And then Mikal Bridges is really good. Sharpshooter. Their whole team is very good. So I love the Suns.
Isn't it great that the NBA expanded the playoffs and a team that's like 13 games under 500 is going to make the play-in game? Isn't that great?
Well, that's the funny thing. That's why I think this Lakers team is even worse than that Karl Malone, Gary Payton, because they've expanded the playoffs and they're not even going to make it.
Terrible. And meanwhile, we talk about how much top-heavy the West might be. But if you look at overall, the Nets they're in the I think they're in the play-in, and
They
they're over
are.
500. So
Well, I'll tell you what. I'd rather the Nets be in the playoffs than not. So, based off of that, I'm glad there's an expanded playoff.
I mean, shit, the Knicks would be in the playoffs in the West. If that's how bad the Knicks would be there. You can't. If you're worse than the Knicks, you don't belong in the playoffs.
No, the Knicks are in trouble too because they gave everyone a huge contract after last year. Yeah. Okay. I'll talk NBA all day, dude.
No, let's go. I'll give you my prediction for tomorrow night. Okay. I think Carolina wins it. I think probably something like 77 to 72. Free throw, end up hitting some free throws in the end. A close game, and I think they end up doing it. But I'm so biased. Who knows?
All right.
Take that with a grain of salt. I had Kansas not in the Final Four, so
Yeah, and I've been in shambles on the betting side of it. I'll take Kansas though, just to be opposite. I think the UNC guy, didn't he tweak his ankle?
He did, but he'll play. And Kansas hit. So I mean, they were shooting lights out, and so I don't know. I feel like they'll have maybe an off half. If they don't have a perfect half, I think Carolina will take advantage of it. But I mean, that just shows you how underachieving Carolina was with the players that they had all year. And I didn't watch enough to know if they were healthy or not, which I feel like they were. I don't think they had a lot of injuries, and that was not a good ACC too. The ACC was down, and they were, although the ACC almost could have had 3 teams in the Final Four. Miami could have won that game, which they at halftime they very easily could have done. So.
Yeah, Miami's turned it around. Why don't you like Roy Williams? You never covered that.
Roy Williams was he accused Billy Donovan of cheating.
Oh, he did?
I think it was I have to look it up. I think it was Mike Miller.
He's like, and I've never done anything like that in my 70 years.
Yeah, he's what the heck was it?
I just like that he's one of those guys with the mask where there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like last night he had it on at some points, and then other times he didn't. And he was just like, sometimes I like wearing it, and then in the second half I don't like wearing it.
Yeah, so Kansas.
You see what I'm saying? It's like either wear it all the time or none of the time. Why do I just like
depends on where you're going. Kansas told on the Gators and when Donovan was there, Williams. And so I just hated Kansas and Carolina ever since. I think I probably hated them. I don't wear a mask generally anymore, but there are some scenarios where I guess I might put it on. But yeah, at the basketball game, it's just weird. I feel like why?
Now my problem is not it's the inconsistency.
Yeah, I know.
When you're in the exact same seat, it's like, well, are you gonna wear it or you're not gonna wear it?
I get it. What do you think about Jen Psaki leaving the White House?
I'm sorry, I'm watching the Lakers lose again.
Are they on
Say that again? Yeah, they're playing Denver. They're down by
Jen
9.
Psaki leaving the White House as press secretary.
Oh, she's leaving?
Yeah, going to MSNBC.
That job doesn't have a good life, does it?
No, I mean, look, she did. I thought
highly stressful.
Yeah, I don't know if I said this to you when if we ever talked about it, but if I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and you had to ask me, like the final question was, who was the press secretary under like Clinton or anyone before Trump? For $1 million, I could have had all lifelines and I would still not get it. And now Trump comes along and everyone knows the press secretary, who the press secretary is. I had no idea they did it every day. I literally had no idea that they had a press secretary.
Trump had like 19 press secretaries.
Yeah. But nobody knew until
not
him.
Doing a good job. Spicer, you're out. Who's the other guy? Who was the guy who had the job for one day?
Oh, that was Scaramucci.
Oh, yeah.
No, he had it for 11 days. I think it was 11 days. And he went on Big Brother. He was on Celebrity Big Brother, I think. Was there a Saturday Night Live last night? Because I assume they probably have some good stuff with the Chris Rock.
Oh, I didn't see. I should look that up.
Yeah, I usually record it, so I don't know.
Russell Westbrook just missed a free throw, by the way.
Yeah,
The rest of this cast, Matt's just gonna leave. I'm just gonna live tell you what's happening with the Lakers.
There was a new one last night, and I'll be interested to see what they do with the Chris Rock slap.
Here's a question: what would you have done if you got slapped by Will Smith?
It was now that I see it, and I heard that Chris Rock just doing nothing. It was like that's a boss move, just standing up there and
Like,
I mean, Chris Rock. What's Chris Rock going to do anyway? But just standing there like it didn't affect him, and there was all kinds of rumors about it that was staged because the company that was sponsoring it also sponsors hair loss products, and so I don't know. There's a whole lot of conspiracy theories. It wouldn't shock me if any of it was true. It's Hollywood. It's acting. These are some of the best actors in the world.
No. So you could. What can you offer Will Smith? It's like, oh, you're already super rich, gonna win the Oscar, and super famous. Well, do we have the pitch for you?
You can win the Oscar. We'll give you the Oscar if you do this.
No, absolutely.
They're like, we want. Someone said, I forget who it was, maybe Trevor Noah or someone else was like, next year they're definitely going to go back to the Oscars so white because they don't want to have any more of these incidents.
Oh, he already retired from the Academy.
Yeah,
he didn't hear.
They need Billy Crystal back. Billy Crystal was doing his thing. It was pretty. I think Chris Rock is very good at what he does.
He was just a presenter. He wasn't even the host.
Oh,
that's why he was just riffing. Yeah, he was just riffing.
Who was the host?
Host was like Amy Schumer and like Wanda Sykes. They did like 3 women.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought he was the host. So he was just a presenter? I feel like the presenter is not supposed to do jokes, and that makes it a little bit different. I get he's a comedian, but
yeah, he's just a presenter for Best Documentary.
No, Best Actor.
No, he was Best Documentary, and then an hour later, Will Smith won for Best Actor.
It was an hour?
Yeah.
Well, the rumor I heard was that Chris Rock said they didn't want Will removed, but they should have told Will, look, you gotta leave.
Well, they couldn't do that because they knew an hour later he was going to win the award.
Well, they could have had him come back.
I guess they could have changed it, just cross it off.
They could have interviewed him from anywhere in the world, like, from jail or something. Present him with this jail.
Well, actually,
Will Smith couldn't be here. You all know why. You saw it. But let's hear what he has to
won.
Say. Let's hear what he has to say and go live from like the holding cell.
If I was his PR person, I would have been like, yeah, leave. I'll do the speech for you.
Oh, his PR person talked to him. I mean, talk about, I don't know.
I would have been like, come on, dude. Come on, bro.
So if there's going to be a Chris Rock, Will Smith moment at the Grammys tonight, who do you want it to be? Give me 2 people you want it to be.
Oh, man. Well, I guess we've already seen Kanye, right? We've already seen him melt down.
Nobody cares about Kanye.
Yeah, nobody cares about a Kanye meltdown. I'd like to see
How about Kid Rock?
Adele. I'd like to see Adele screaming at full volume.
Did you hear Kid Rock's new song?
Nicki Minaj.
Did you hear Kid Rock's new song?
No, how's it go?
Oh, man.
I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. Oh, wait, no, that's somebody else.
I say Kid Rock. Kid Rock's got a new song. It's called We the People.
Oh, fantastic. Is it one of those songs that's going to trigger you?
I don't get triggered by this, but I just find it entertaining.
It's like it's designed to trigger so that he can revive his career.
Oh, yeah. He wrote he talks about like coming together and loving each other, and he's got like 9 Let's Go Brandons, and he's F-bombing everyone, Fauci, Biden, CNN, TMZ. And then the line says, but no, let's all get along and love each other. And I'm going to go see him this summer. I like his music. I mean, I think he puts on a good show, although
That's like Will Smith's speech, I'm gonna slap someone, and then I'm a vessel.
Yeah,
of
that
love.
was weird
I'm
too.
a
But he came
vessel
back.
of love.
He came back and said, "I'm a work in progress." It wasn't. I don't know how genuine it was.
Have you ever gotten to that point, Matt? Have you ever gotten that angry?
Not when I would physically, like in the moment. But again, that's not in the moment. He was laughing. Jada stares at him. Then he goes and walks up and slaps him. So no, I've never had that point where I had time to think about it and then done that. I don't know. It's just not. What are you going to say about me? You could make fun of my mom and my dad and my family. Like, what do I care what you say?
That's true.
You're going to make me, like, I'm going to risk everything I've worked up and built, which isn't anywhere near what Will Smith has, by the way. I'm going to let you ruin that for me? No, I don't care.
Man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The world, dude.
I've been angry before, but I don't.
I'll get angry too.
I'm like Michael Jackson. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, but think about this.
Ding, ding, ding.
Nothing surprises me anymore. Like, you always think this is like the craziest thing you've seen, as you said, and something else is going to happen. That's not even going to be in 3 months. We're not even going to be talking about that. There's going to be something else that happened. Like, who knows? I don't know.
I'd like to see the hologram of Michael Jackson get booed tonight. There you go. That's it. That's what I want to see. He's like, you and I alone, while the entire audience boos his hologram.
I'm interested to see what they do.
Yeah, I am here with you, Chimone. When you're far apart, I can. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see tonight.
I'm interested to see what they do with the Foo Fighters. I think they're supposed to perform, maybe do something.
Okay,
that'll be interesting. Man, the In Memoriam has lost a ton of legends in the music world. So that,
yeah,
I don't know why it's weird. I look forward to the In Memoriam and see how they, how they handle it, and especially when you've lost some of the, and it's sad, I mean, they talk about this guy obviously did some drugs, but think about why, why is he doing these drugs? Got a lot of problems.
Juice WRLD. Was that this year? Yeah, we lost. Yeah, he died this year.
It's always hard to tell what songs and music and movies and people, because I feel like you watch an award show and I'm like, that was like 3 years ago. What are they still doing? But
yeah, I think they have to catch up.
What's the Lakers score?
122-115. Denver is winning the game.
So at what
point I don't see LeBron.
At what point is it over for them, right? Because from what I hear, they have the toughest remaining schedule in the league, and they
definitely have to win this game.
Yeah. Well, LeBron's going to leave, so he's not going to be at the Lakers next year. His son has another year, right? His son's got to probably play a year somewhere before he goes to the NBA, which is ridiculous. I'm sure he'll play.
His son's not that good.
He'll play. It doesn't matter. He's LeBron. A team will sign him to get LeBron for a year, and that'll be that. Yeah,
I know. I think that's the conspiracy theory, is why he was given like Sam Presti his roses, is that Oklahoma City has a ton of draft picks, enough draft picks where you could reasonably think to yourself, if you're a GM, if I can get LeBron for a year, I'll waste one of these draft picks on his son.
That'd be interesting to see him go to the Thunder.
Yeah, just a weird last year. And then it's like, oh, great, you're playing, like, that's obviously not a championship team. So then it's like, what? So there's no way he's catching Jordan anymore. I don't know. It's he's still very good. I gotta give it to him. He's very good at basketball.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to watch him squirm. So you're going with the Warriors then? It sounds like you're locked in.
No, I think the Suns probably will win. It wouldn't shock me if the Warriors take him, and then I think Celtics, Bucks. Well, they're going to play each other, right? It just depends. It could go, but they might play each other. I don't have faith. Those are the two teams I think can win the East. I don't think any of those other teams are going to win. I have no faith in the Heat, no faith in the Nets or the Sixers, and but I think it would be good. I'd root for the Suns to win. It'd be a good story. They really built their team through the draft, and obviously you got Paul to come along, but between Ayton and
Devin Booker.
Kyle
Bridges.
Incredible. Yeah.
All right, one last thing. I'm going to the Kentucky Derby. Have you ever been?
I haven't. It's on my bucket list. It's always around my birthday too.
I was looking for some advice, but
are you going to be in there's a Phillies and something. Are you going to any parties? Are you able to get into any parties?
Nope, just going to the infield.
Yeah, I don't know. Get yourself a hat and a mint julep, I think. Is that what they drink there?
Yep, I was going to go with a nice hat, and we'll do some bourbon trails. We're getting in Thursday, so we'll do that Thursday and Friday night, and then we'll
How do you get tickets for the infield? Are they hard to get, or you just...
No, they're easy to get. You just buy one, and it's like some big party in the middle. We were going to do the whole seating and the suites. I couldn't get enough people where that would make financial sense for everyone. So
it's on my bucket list, and again, it's always around my birthday. So I'm hoping my brother and I will get there one day. I'm trying to work with them. Don't you think it'd be cool to have like a commemorative, cool thing?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't, but not this year. Maybe next year.
Okay, well, I'll take pictures. I'll send them your way.
Yeah, we're excited to hear what it's all about. And what football game are you going to come to? You're going to come to Gainesville?
Yeah, I come every year. Probably Tennessee. That's my game of choice. Are they playing at home for Tennessee or no?
I don't think it is.
You are not alone. Yeah. All right, let me look here. Missouri. How about Missouri?
Home games, we got Utah, Kentucky, USF, Eastern Washington, Missouri, LSU, Carolina.
I got to pick like a lame one. The other ones are probably already sold out.
October 1. I'll be at the Utah game and the Florida-Georgia game.
Oh. No, I'll probably go to like something lame like Missouri or South Carolina.
Yeah. Well, enjoy the
Gainesville,
Derby.
though. Love Gainesville, though. Can't wait to get back.
Have you been to Spurrier's yet?
I have. I went there last time. It was good.
Yeah. Have you been upstairs at the what the heck is it? Lizer? What's it called? The upstairs, the rooftop.
No.
Yeah, it's fun up there. It's pretty cool.
No, it'll be good. I'm excited. I love going back to Gainesville, and man, 2 years of the pandemic really.
Do you have a favorite restaurant there? What do you do when you have like staples that you do when you're there?
Well, I mean, we try and get to Satchel's and try and do the Ginny Springs. But we always go to that same bar that's it's completely new. It's I forget what it's called. It's in Midtown. It's got, speaking of a rooftop place, it has a second floor.
Are you talking about the old Porpoise?
Probably.
Yeah,
it's like in the main area.
Right across from the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not there anymore. They've changed owners, I think. I have a cup
last year.
I have a cup.
The Tennessee game.
I have a pint glass that says "stolen from." What the hell was it called?
It wasn't called the Porpoise though. It's called something else.
It changed.
Well, it's just gonna be another bar, right? I mean, I don't really care what.
Probably a restaurant type thing. Gator. It was. Damn it! What the heck was the name of it?
And then they said they were opening up a new swamp somewhere.
I think they're moving. I was never a big. It was called The Social.
Yeah.
But it's up for it. Got bought out, I think.
Whatever, as long as they still have drinks and
let
people in, that's where I'm gonna go.
Nice rooftop. Oh, there you go. I'm a Hogan's guy.
There's like apartments now everywhere in Midtown, and it's like a completely like different place. It's weird, but also I like it. So I don't know. It's like one of those experiences where you're like, I kind of miss the nostalgia of them, but I kind of like these new places too. So
There's a Wawa like within walking distance of the stadium.
everything's different. Like we went to some random restaurant like on the outskirts that's like brand new too. I don't know. I just miss the good old days of my era. I bet you everyone who was visiting then was like, "Oh, look at all these evolutions and upgrades. It's so lame." But such is life. Such is life.
Yeah. What? I saw you change the name of your music page. Are you getting back into that?
Yeah, I'm gonna start promoting stuff on there, like paying for stuff.
New songs or?
Yeah, I'm working with this other guy, who's a rapper called Bentley the Poet, and we're gonna do an album together. So
Nice.
it'll be good. It'll be
Let me know if you need me to drop a hook in there somewhere.
okay. You'll be the first to know.
No, I've had a couple people on my show who do some rap too. They might be good to collaborate with.
I'll always lay down some rhymes. Never afraid. I'm never scared. Okay. Thank you for joining, Matt. I'll hit you up more often. We got to do this more often. So
I'm in anytime. Enjoy the Derby and enjoy the game tomorrow. Don't bet. Save your money.
don't gamble, kids. All right. Like we always go out. It's Sunday night, but on the Sunday Punch podcast, it's always Friday night.
Friday night, I'm thinking that we just might fly away to someplace they don't know who we are. Now I'm riding shotgun in your car. We drive through the city like explorers going 65. Flowing hair flying across your face. We left on Friday, now it's Saturday. Pressed jeans buttoned up, jeans iron slipping up. Red shoes walking slow, headphones blaring 3 stacks. Sunglasses flaring out, thick watch hanging low. Studded belt pulled taut, 3 stacks on the radio. Friday night, I'm thinking that we just might run away to some place we can be who we are. We can be who we are.